Alright, we are now live. Yeah, we are now live. I'm going to show again here. This is the thumbnail as you can see here. And hello, welcome. This is the inaugural live stream of me where I'm going to cover about the the flight of Atlas V configuration 922, which I will explain later what is it, which we are going to witness the first crew test flight ever for the Boeing CST-100 Starliner. And yeah, I'm going to tell you that because this is inaugural live stream, so lots of things that we need to cover, but let's be simplified here because I'm not going to explain too much. Already people have already explained. Yeah, and yeah, I'm going to stop the music so you can listen in to the what we are going to talk about. Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, let me see. Can we get uh okay, no? So we gonna uh yeah, can you okay. So let's I'll try. No? So we gonna uh yeah, can you okay. So let's I'll try. Okay, I need to add a little bit. So we gonna uh okay, 4 minutes. But let me still try. Okay, so let's
Just beautiful words from Butch there.
I'll try. Okay, I need
No
to
better
add a little
example
bit.
of unity
So we
on this
gonna
planet than what happens at the International Space Station.
okay, 4 minutes. But let me
Everyone's
still try.
where you're headed
Alright,
in
can
just
you hear?
minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, so let's
Just beautiful words from Butch there.
oh, you're right. Okay, I need
No
to
better
add a little
example
bit.
of unity on this
Atlas
planet
boosters, hydraulic steering
than what
systems,
happens at the
Yeah,
International Space
okay,
Station.
okay, 4 minutes. But let me still
Everyone's
try.
where you're headed
Yeah, let's alright.
in
Can
just
you hear?
minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, so right now I'm going to tell you a little bit nutshell about this flight right now, which we are
Starliner's
going to
LES
introduce right now.
valves are configured for launch. The propulsion valves that need to be
Okay,
open and
let's close it. Okay, so in the nutshell, the Atlas uh, 5 configuration N22, it doesn't have too much differences. Just that for here, the second for the how do we call this? This is called as main engine stage. Okay, this is the booster stage. Okay, so if you hear Biko cut off or Miko cut off, you know the difference. Okay, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to call this as the second stage. So there is a little bit slight different for N22 configuration. The first one is that for the Centauri engine, instead of one, there's going to be a two here, as you can see. The dual RL10A-4-2, which is powered by hydrolox, which consists of liquid oxygen as the how do I say? As the oxidizer and fuel, and also for the fuel, they are using hydrogen there, specifically the liquid hydrogen. It's very cold, around negative 200 plus degrees Celsius something, or I don't know how much Fahrenheit because I don't use that that unit. So sorry. And for this one, it's going to use this aero skirt, which is you can see here the launch vehicle adapter and 70-inch skirt, or around if I'm not mistaken, around how many meters, something like that, or centimeter. But yeah, we are not going to table too much. And here, yeah, the adapter here, and this is the Starliner. Okay, and also yeah, and also for this flight, they are going to use this one, the Starliner Calypso, which is the recycled one, the 3.2 version here. And we are going to have these two astronauts, Barry Eugene, Butch Wilmore, and also the Sunita Williams here. Okay, Sunita Lynn Williams specifically. So, yeah, I'm not going to explain too much here. For you might already got this information from lots of sources. But yeah, we are going to watch here. I'm excited. But yeah. So let's see, guys. The minus 30 seconds. Yeah. Let's go. Oh no. Let's go.
Go Atlas.
Yeah. Go Atlas goes slow.
Godspeed, Sonny.
Yes. Come on. This is the first flight. This is the most important. I'm not going to explain too much detail. I'm going to
10,
explain.
9,
Okay, 9,
8, 7, 6,
5,
5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff for the Starliner.
2 American heroes.
Liftoff.
Stars for all of us.
The first launch ever outside of the Kennedy Space Center, and we are witnessing the history so far. So good.
Commander Butch Wilmore there,
All right.
calling down to Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the
Nice.
for its ascent and the guidance
All right.
navigation and control officer.
Roll has already been initiated. T plus 33 seconds into flight. Yeah, and so far this roller booster looks good. Yeah, first stage looks very good. All right, here we go, baby. Here we go, piercing the skies.
Max Q.
Oh, okay, Max Q.
Maximum dynamic pressure with the
All right, Max Q.
Butch and Sonny will shortly be passing through Mach 1 for the
Hey.
speed sound.
Wait, is it? Not yet? Okay, I think we've already reached Mach 1. Or whatever is it. Okay, it's fine. You have heard that. Okay. So far looking so good. Yeah.
You got a good throttle up.
Okay, right now it means throttle out up for the RD-180 on the first stage.
In less than 20 seconds, the solid rocket boosters will run out of fuel and burn out.
Okay, which means okay. I think we can see the first sign of
Good
Oh.
SRB burnout.
okay, SRB burnout.
Good SRB.
Okay. SRB side booster
Now that
have
the
already
fuel in the solid
has already
boosters
been
has been depleted. The
Okay,
LS
depleted.
booster stage will be continued
just waiting for
the next
separation. T plus 2 minutes. Looks very good.
handle. Good handle.
That call, good handle from Capcom Joshua Kutrick, indicating that the crew now has the ability to initiate an abort manually if needed.
Yeah.
Looking good so far. Now 2 minutes.
Okay.
Flight and coming up on the
SRB
solid
side
rocket
booster
jettison
has
at the
already
2 minute 40
separated.
second mark.
And yeah. And it looks good so far. RD-180. At this point, it should have already maintained that 3G as acceleration because yeah, that's basically one of the requirement for main space flight.
Good trajectory.
All right, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. All right.
The solid rocket boosters have now been jettisoned after seeing Starliner through its first 90 seconds of flight. On the
Nice.
ground here confirming that it was a good jettison and that the vehicle's trajectory continues to look good.
All
Now,
right.
3
Nice.
minutes into today's flight.
Okay, 3 minutes into the flight. And looking very good so far. All right. And for this one, yeah, we should have already looking at the inside of the space capsule here. But there is no view so far. But whatever, we are still going to enjoy the view of the Earth's horizon. Yeah, and that some black bloom from the result of the burning of the Carolox, which
Atlas booster now throttling back to limit the G forces on Butch and Sonny. Trying to limit that to around 3.5 times the force of gravity you would feel while on the ground.
yeah. So I was correct. It has to maintain around 3G here. This is correct. and also RD-180 in this case, it burns not as I've already told about the Centaur stages, but instead it burns Kerolox, which consists of liquid oxygen as the oxidizer and kerosene as the kerosene, aka the most refined one, the RP1, as the fuel. Yeah, as the fuel for the booster stage or first stage, whatever is it, just to be easy. And yeah, the good thing here is that we have the data. Okay, and we have cutoff of the first stage, and the Centaur will ignite. Okay, pre-start, and we have already ignition on the Centaur stages.
To here in the ground.
Decals open, you have sublimator act.
All right, looking very good. Yes, looking very good.
Ground reporting that they saw the ascent cover on top of Starliner.
Okay, Aeroscut has already been separated here, as you can see from the rocket cam.
Staging was good. You have good control.
Yeah, looking very good so far.
The second stage's two Centaur engines have ignited to continue pushing Starliner into space, fueled by liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen.
Okay, and I need to tell you a little bit here is that even though if the second stage here already does its jobs there, but you need to we have to be reminded that it's going to near orbit, but basically it's like in between of suborbital and orbital, so let's just call it near orbit. So in this case, what it will do is that it will use the thruster here, the MOS, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Let me see. Am I right?
Or specific impulse relative to its design baseline of around 450.
Yeah. Okay. But never mind. Not have too much time to read a lot here. But yeah, it should it in this case they have their own orbital. Yeah, never mind. But the main point is that usually when it it reaches almost to the near to the orbit, it will ignite this how do I say, the main thruster here. Both of the main thruster, if I remember correctly, it's here, and the rest of it, the RCS will be used for adjusting precisely where it wants to go. But this one will be another main powerhouse after the separation here. Okay, no data it reported, but now we are back live of the telemetry.
Good center.
Alright, and let me go back.
Good center.
Capcom Joshua Kutrick.
Yeah, good center.
Continuing to pass good news out of Starliner's crew. Last one reporting that the Centaur upper stage remains in good condition and is performing well, pushing them into orbit.
Yeah, so far so good. This is what we want to hear. Okay, as you can see the perigee one here. It actually should have shown here minus, which means they are not yet in the orbit and they are still in the orbital trajectory. So it needs to go slightly upper, maybe around 100 plus kilometer, and after that, the main engine thruster here should have done a lots of job. Oh, I see. It's here. It will done a lots of job here, and RCS just going to adjust slightly where's the position here, so it's not going to go outside of that ISS rendezvous trajectory. Okay, as you can see, the inclination around 51.39 degrees, so looks pretty good so far.
Starliner Miko converged 11:5 to 11:52. Good perf. You're at 34 to 38 36 seconds.
All right.
11:52, 34 seconds.
That call letting the crew know that the main engine cutoff, MECO, should happen just about on time, about 12 minutes into today's flight. Another good indication that Starliner's ascent is taking along exactly as expected. Main engine cutoff is a major milestone marking Starliner's arrival on orbit.
Yeah, looks good. But
Still
let me
got
see.
about 2.5 minutes until we get to that.
Okay.
With the spacecraft
No one's
continuing
no one
to
watching here, but
perform
it's
well,
fine.
make its way towards orbit.
No
All right.
action, Starliner on the LCL. That's just the system coming up into controlling mode.
Yeah.
Outstanding. No action.
All right here.
Once the main engine is cut off, the next step will be the launch vehicle separation. That's set to occur just short of 15 minutes after launch, when Starliner will separate from the rocket and fly free in space for the first time.
All right. So supposedly should happen few minutes from now, but we'll see. Oh yeah. In the meantime, from what I've heard is that do you want to
Flight
know?
Dynamics officer reporting that at this point, Starliner could potentially make an abort
Starliner,
landing
yep,
off
good
the coast of
cool.
Ireland.
Yeah. Do you want to know what of the reasons that few days
We're
ago we have
all continuing well, so we should be
delay?
expecting the
You want to know why? Because if I remember, several of
Starliner
these
rapidly approaching
RCS,
velocity. The support regions are
or if I
available
remember
for
one of
just
the
over 1 minute.
RCS,
We're
it had
fine.
some
Just continue up to orbit.
how do we how do we call this helium helium leak, actually helium valve leak. So they tried to assess it, and when NASA already assessed it like few days ago, and then they said like, it's fine, small leak but manageable, and that's why we have flight for today. And also the second, possibly one of the slightly shocking revelation to me is that they recently only detected that there is
30
the
seconds, D'Amico.
okay 30 seconds.
Just 30 seconds to go.
Okay,
Now until main engine cutoff,
is
marking
that
Starliner's arrival on orbit.
is that the valve itself, the design valve, it's not very good too. It can be potentially life threatening or whatever is it, but wow, means they need to redesign this stuff. Yeah, especially Boeing with some kerfuffle this day and age. Okay, and we have cut off of the booster engine, the Centaur, the dual Centaur rocket engine here. Hydrolox has already been stopped.
Nominal Miko, Starliner.
Okay, Nominal Miko, it's good so far. Maybe we'll see separates here shortly after. Oh yeah,
Nominal
around
Miko
15
call,
minutes
main engine cut off.
to flight.
We've got good energy, meaning a good velocity for continuing to orbit, and a good plane, meaning Starliner's
Okay.
trajectory is aligned with the International Space Station for rendezvous tomorrow.
And with that, Butch, Wilmore, and Sunny Williams returned to orbit. Individually, they are both extremely experienced astronauts.
14:5 14:52.
All right.
14:52.
All right. Okay, looks like
They're both
I'm-
very experienced astronauts with a combined total of 489 days
Okay.
in space between them. Starliner is also the third spacecraft that they've launched in. Both have traveled to the International Space Station via space shuttles and Soyuz and are now well on their way to repeating the journey via Starliner. It's also worth noting that Williams' role as pilot marks the first time that a woman has crewed a flight test of an orbital
Nice.
spacecraft.
Okay.
Just a few seconds ago, you heard Capcom Joshua Kutrick calling up to Butch and Sunny.
Okay.
With the expected time, Starliner will separate from Centaur at about 14 minutes, 52 seconds into flight.
14 minutes and 42 seconds. They will be
2 minutes from now, or 1 minute from now.
Yeah, they will be separated from this Centaur stage.
That is
Yeah.
actually the last major milestone for Starliner's ascent. All the hard work is done, but we need for Starliner to be flying on its own before it can begin heading towards the International Space Station. There's a slight pause in the action here while Centaur repressurizes and does some attitude control. We'll get into the right orientation to send Centaur on its way and then jettison it and move into the right orientation for the orbital insertion burn, which will come about 31 minutes into flight.
Alright. So, looks like from it, 30 seconds from now, before we have separation of that Starliner. Separation from the upper stage.
Still acting on the cabin
Or,
fan of Starliner.
or the main engine. I don't know. Whatever is it. Too many names for this. Alright. 10 seconds left. And my estimate for the perigee altitude is a little slightly lower, but whatever.
And about 10 seconds until
Okay,
expected
10,
launch vehicle
10 seconds or whatever. Let's see. Let's watch. Alright, separation. And now you see it's kicking off to the stage. Yeah. So we shall see that. Yeah. And here is some not so good animation, but should have helped you. Anyways. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it's going to ignite
And now
the
Starliner has
main
separated
main thrust
Centaur
engine
upper
here.
stage. We have a big thank you to our partners at ULA, providing Butch and Sunny a smooth ride to space.
Oh yeah, and also by the way, it's
That is
not
the
that.
end of today's orbit activity, though. The team will now be getting ready for the orbital insertion burn, which comes 31 minutes after flight. So that's still about 15 minutes away now.
Yeah.
Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore will be getting their tablets out and doing a few other activities to get Starliner ready for that.
Okay,
That
no one.
will be one of the
Never mind.
that will be the first in a series of burns that will send
Okay,
Starliner
60
on its way to the
minutes.
International Space Station.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, and so far, maybe in case you're wondering, oh no, that's so weird and what's on. You need to remember that just like what it says, like the orbital burn insertion, it reminds me to that that space shuttle era. They have this one procedure. They call this the OMS one. Orbital maneuver.
With astronauts Butch Wilmore
Sorry.
and Sunny Williams on board, launched from Florida, the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Launch Pad 41 at 9:52 a.m. Central, 10:52 a.m. Eastern today, and they have now made it into
your
orbit.
nominal TDRA show MDL is active. You have good targeting for OI.
Yeah, it reminds me to that OMS the OMS procedure, basically the orbital maneuvering system, if I remember, which is if you remember this one
With the call
from the
targeting
space shuttle here.
information about Starliner's TDRA schedule being good means that
No.
we've got
The space shuttle
TDRS is the
one here.
tracking relay data satellites. That's
No, if you see from
and the
this here.
controllers on the ground are
Yes, this one here. It reminds me to that
dynamic.
the OMS orbital maneuvering system. If you remember from the space shuttle era, they says like OMS 1 or OMS 2 because they want to insert to the orbit. They will use this one. Yeah, they will use this the orbital maneuvering system for the space shuttle era. So in this case, this is kind of like the equivalent to that mission, almost similar to the space shuttle one. So yeah, almost similar to space shuttle one, but of course it's not a space plane. Of course it's space capsule. So yeah, so there you have it. I'm going to raise up again. All right.
So the crew have their tablets out, so no longer using the paper procedures now that the vehicle has stopped moving so quickly. So there's a handful of things that the crew's going to do now, mostly just prepare the inside of the cockpit, so they are looking at the right data to prepare for the upcoming orbital insertion burn.
Mm-hmm.
The vehicle itself has done a few things recently. Started to power on the solar arrays on the back of Starliner and turned
Alright.
off several of the thrusters that are no longer needed in
Alright.
this phase of flight.
Looks interesting. Fortunately, it's not 100% yet time to sleep, but yeah, I'm still trying.
Upcoming in about 4 minutes, Starliner is going to
Mhm.
start to orient itself in the direction it needs to do the orbital insertion burn. And the crew inside the vehicle will be turning the wireless access point on and allow them to stream some of the data from the spacecraft onto their procedure tablets.
Yeah, okay. So there you have it, guys.
And Houston Starliner, last arm is off. Backup control switches, enable 1 on, enable 2 off. SMRCS is the mode.
Okay. I mean,
We copy off. Enable 1 is on, enable 2 is off. SMRCS, you're in a good config.
alright. This is their procedure.
Good config.
Oh man. Those crusty
DV
graphics.
They're on board and good.
VDXPD.
Nice. We'll see. Maybe they will be going with orbital insertion. Yeah, with the orbital insertion on. We'll see. Mhm. Oh yeah, and also I need to tell you that maybe after this, I mean, big likely after this live stream, maybe after I've already wake up again tomorrow.
Things will be pretty quiet as Starliner gets into position for the orbital insertion burn. That's still about 10 minutes away. Starliner is
Okay.
actually designed to be pretty autonomous, and in fact, docked with the space station on its last trip around without the help of any crew on board. But we do still want to know that if needed, Butch, Wilmore, and Sunny Williams could take control and manually abort the spacecraft's approach to the station if they needed to. So to prove that, one of the few things on their agenda after they reach orbit will be to perform a test of the manual piloting mode.
Alright. Oh yeah. So okay. So this is what they are going to do based on this illustration.
This test will involve first pointing Starliner's nose towards the Earth so that its communication antenna on the back of the service module is pointed at the satellites, the teeter satellites that allow it to communicate with the team on the ground. They'll then move Starliner so that its solar arrays are pointed at the sun, showing they could charge Starliner's internal batteries as needed. And they'll follow that up with a demonstration of the star trackers, one of the ways that Starliner determines where it is in space, pointing Starliner away from Earth so that the system, the Vesta system, can get a good look at the stars.
All
The
right.
next step will be for the crew to manually speed Starliner up and then slow back down, which will slightly raise and then lower their orbit and prove that they can manually break away from the orbit that the space station is in if they needed to. At that point, they can move on to the last
Starliner,
items of the
still no
test.
action on your cabin temp. You're in a good config. It's 74 degrees in there. Yeah, and that's just due to the T2 sensor sitting beside the light. So we're actually going to inhibit that particular sensor. We'll let you know when we bring it back online.
All
Good,
right.
looks like we're on our way to thrust align.
I mean, from these comms, it's way interesting. So much that I don't have much comment right now.
Calling up that the crew can ignore some alarms they're seeing on the temperatures inside Starliner. That's just a result of one of the sensors being next to a light that's causing it to show higher than it actually is. But it sounds like the crew are pretty comfortable and are getting into place for that orbital insertion.
Reminds me to
As
the
I was saying, after they have manually broken away from the orbit of, proven that they can manually break away from the orbit of the space station, they are going to move on to the last items of their test for tonight. That's manually moving Starliner into the right orientation for re-entering the atmosphere, and then moving back into the attitude that will let them soak up some sun with the solar arrays and try a different method of manually charging the spacecraft's batteries.
Okay.
But again, once that all has to wait until after the orbital insertion burn. This is again the first of several burns that will put Starliner on its way to the International Space Station. We've still got about 6.5 minutes until we fire up the engines for that burn.
All right. So looks like some of the objectives here is that they are going to test how Starliner will react with the sunlight, which is the solar panel. Yeah, solar panel. And also they are going to test a lot. As you can see, the orientation they're testing with the RCS-1, the reaction control system, as you can see here right now, and also they're also going to test some more here. Lots of interesting part here. Yeah, as you can see, and also that when you know about the censored stuff, it says like high temperature, blah blah blah, what's on. It kind of reminds me the early days of space shuttle program. It reminds me with that. Where if I remember on this space shuttle flight around STS 1 2 something like that, it has some like weird alarm warning about the temperature, blah blah blah, what's on. But correct me if I'm wrong at the part. But it kind of remind that, Ooh. That's interesting. Okay, so far we don't have anyone there, but it's fine, totally fine. At least this is a little bit opportunity for me to try out this live stream.
Team here on the ground seeing that everything is looking like it's in the right configuration for the orbital insertion burn. Now less than 5 minutes away. Starliner is currently about 102 miles above the Mediterranean Sea, heading southeast over India in the next few minutes.
All right, looks like it around Mediterranean Sea.
Starliner, good config for the OI burn.
And then they will be around the Indian Ocean Sea. Okay, just few minutes, around 3-2 minutes before the orbital insertion.
Starliner is pointed in the direction it needs to for the OI burn.
Yeah, looks like it, boys. Let's see.
It should also be about the time that the crew are using their tablets for their procedures, also charging them, keeping them topped up for the rest of the rendezvous.
We unfortunately won't have a view of Williams and Wilmore as they work through this procedure. Although we had a view of them from inside the cabin on the ground, Starliner isn't able to send that view to us again until it gets to the International Space Station. So you'll be seeing this screen quite a bit as Starliner was getting into the right position for the burn. And actually just now you can see some of the engines firing that help it steer and move around in space. And you can also see what attitude it's in at any given time. Lots of good information on this screen.
It is. A lot of this information actually directly mimics the views that the crew is seeing, especially the one in the upper left-hand panel. That is an exact copy of the display the crew is using for their attitude directional indicator. It also covers what mode their translational hand controller and the translational pointing is in. On the left side, on the right side, the pointing guidance, which tells the Starliner in automated mode which direction to point, or when in manual mode which direction the crew needs to move the vehicle, like we're going to do in some of the manual piloting maneuvers. And following back up a little bit on the camera conversation, there is a planned upgrade of the Mustang system that we should see on our PCM-1 mission that will include live feeds from inside the cockpit.
And the Mustang system is the cameras that we were seeing views from earlier.
Yeah, so if you see something like this one from the left and right side of the animation Starliner view, That's
without
basically it
directly seeing
shows
their face or
where
being
the
silhouette,
direction is right now.
during pre-launch. But once they're in orbit, they've gotten out of their seats a little bit, and we should be able to see a little bit more around the cabin.
You know, something about like 3D or 4D space. Yeah,
So
it's
as
it's
you've
interesting, you
already
know.
heard, continuing with your
XYZ.
regular audio updates from the crew, everything going well now that Starliner is just under 30 minutes into today's flight. We've got about a minute and a half left to go into that orbital insertion burn that will be kind of the final end cap, really, to today's ascent, which again took place at 10:52 a.m. Eastern when Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams launched inside the first Starliner to carry crew members on board from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Launch Pad 41.
Yeah, looks interesting, isn't it?
We headed
And
to orbit about 14 minutes later, and now we are just again waiting for this first of a series of burns that will set Starliner on its way to a rendezvous with the International Space Station that is scheduled to take place at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, 11:15 a.m. Central tomorrow.
all right. So, by the way, after live stream and maybe hopefully after
And
I
we've
wake
got
up again,
40 seconds till the orbital
I'll do some
insertion burn.
post-mortem about
This burn
what I'm doing.
is going to take Starliner out of its slightly suborbital trajectory and push it up to
Yeah.
an altitude
Hmm?
that will allow us to catch up with ISS for a rendezvous
Yeah.
later tomorrow.
Just like it. And by the way, I need to tell you, this is not something I can do
15 seconds
live
left to go,
stream.
and once again, you'll be able to see those engines firing on this
Yeah.
digital screen here
Uh,
that show when the burn has started.
yeah. Okay. Chef start. Okay.
2 seconds.
1. Ignition. All right. Ignition. Main thruster engine ignition. Going to gain that
Starliner
orbit.
here in Houston,
Eh.
seeing 4 good OMAX, good burn.
Yeah, Omax. Correct. Orbital maneuvering. Whatever is it, but you know what is it? The Omax thruster engine here. All right, good. All right. What is it? Is it done? Because it looks like we've done.
We took a look. That was a good OI burn. You're maneuvering to NavCal 1.
Oh, looks like successful here.
Good eye burn.
Successful orbital insertion for this crew flight test mission here.
And with that call up, both crew and flight controllers agreeing that that was a good OI burn. I'm looking at the trajectory plot here in mission control. I see our trajectory pointing us directly up to the altitude we need to go to for the next burn.
Okay, so when the next
Now Starliner
burn?
moving into NavCal mode, or NavCal attitude.
Hmm?
That's going to be the first of several positions that Starliner, directions that Starliner points itself to track some of the stars from the Starliner and
All right.
rotate the position inside of the position orientation of Starliner inside of its guidance, navigation, and control algorithms.
Nice. Nice. You heard
We're
that?
seeing lots of happy faces and cheers here there in Florida. Everybody glad to see Starliner safely in orbit with Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams in tow, sending it on its way to the International Space Station for docking tomorrow at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, should be around
Once again, Starliner safely on orbit has
12:15
orbital insertion
in the
burn
morning.
and is on its way.
Tomorrow. Wow. Maybe I'm not live at that time. I just want to have some rest, maybe, or maybe I can cover a little bit, and then that's it. So it looks like it. Looks good.
Starliner Houston.
Where's that?
Go ahead, Starliner, Houston.
you do have good cooling. The sublimator is working. We are watching it, though, because the water usage is just a little more than we thought we were going to see. You probably noticed that. It's a reason for the advisory there. From the ground, we'd like to swap you over to the other leg. So we're going to close sublimator leg 1, wait for about 60 seconds, and then open up leg 2. You'll see us do that. No impact or action.
Okay, we copy. We'll be watching. Thank you.
Joshua Kutrick there again, giving the crew some words about information they're seeing on orbit. This one related to sublimators, which are used to cool the spacecraft down. But just letting them know that there's nothing that they need to be concerned about. The team will keep watching that. In the meantime, as Starliner begins making its way to the International Space Station, we're going to check in with Rob Navius in the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Rob?
All right.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brandy. With Starliner en route to the station, the work now just beginning for Wilmore and Williams. First up, an important rendezvous burn called the NC burn, which will adjust Starliner's altitude relative to the station and begin to refine its path to the orbital laboratory. Flight Dynamics will be assessing the accuracy of Starliner's initial trajectory and will update any adjustments to that trajectory for subsequent maneuvers to be conducted over the next 24 hours. Now, we're expecting to hear the first of 3 audio reports from the crew during their free flight on how the ride uphill to orbit was before they move into what are called far-field demonstrations of the vehicle. That will include manual piloting tasks and a manual translation control test. That will prove Starliner's ability to execute a manual docking if required, as well as an abort capability prior to docking. Keep in mind, we're providing continuous coverage now of Starliner's flight to the International Space Station. On Thursday morning, rendezvous operations will begin in earnest shortly before 10 a.m. Eastern Time, leading to a targeted docking for Starliner to the station at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So please stay with us around the clock as we bring you every minute of Starliner's flight. For now, we're going to sign off from the International Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston and go back to Megan, Dee, and Mike Fink at the Cape.
All right.
Hey, and
It
welcome
looks
back
like
to the
it.
Space Coast of Florida, where about 36 minutes ago we witnessed the launch of a United Launch Alliance
Okay,
Atlas V
let's
rocket
listen a little
carrying
bit
the first 2
before
astronauts,
I
the
decided
NASA's
to
Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams,
give
inside Boeing's
a little bit more
Starliner
thought.
capsule to the
Yeah.
International Space Station. The first time ever, Starliner now in the right orbit to rendezvous with the space station in just over 25 hours. How are you guys feeling? How was it to watch launch? Again, just right over the water behind us here.
I mean, this is extremely exciting, obviously a long time coming and a culmination of so much hard work by so many teams.
All right. So that's a little bit whatever is it, right? Oh, and looks like it. Hello, hello viewers. How's it going? Oh, and concurrent viewers is 0, but it's fine. Not wanting to care too much about it. Okay, so so that's it, guys. How do I say about this stuff? It's interesting, certainly for sure. But yeah, I can say that. How do I say right now? Because this is a little bit my thoughts and not so much important things for now. So I'll give you some words about today. Is that it teaches me a lot about what I'm going to do for the next stream. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not the best thing you can see so far. But hey, this is it, guys. Whatever we can do. And yeah, how do I say? Maybe for now, I'm going to sleep. Going to have some good resting days. Maybe I want to prepare for tomorrow. If I felt very good, I will try stream. I will try go and stream those. A Starliner talking to the ISS, if that even properly happens, and if they didn't abort it. So I'll try to cover. So we'll see for sure. And yeah, how do I say? Here, I'm going to, yeah, here's the music. Yeah, just to zoom out here. Okay. And also another things for sure is that you know, lots of interesting stuff here. But that's it, guys. We're going to see you again next time, and hopefully I can bring you slightly a little bit more material. Maybe I'll try adjust it. Maybe I'll try to adjust, so maybe I can live stream around 20 seconds before the launch, so, or maybe 15 minutes. I'll try to adjust as time goes on. So thank you guys for sticking with me. So until then, we are going to see you again next time. This is Daniel Suguwa signing out for this Boeing Starliner CST-100 Starliner Boe-CFT crew flight test mission, onboarding with the Atlas V N22 rocket configuration. So that's all, guys. See you next time, or maybe tomorrow. So that's it. Bye bye. Take care. And to my Dayak friends around Borneo and what's on, including me included. Happy Gawai Kamatan, and Gayugu Gray Namai Lantang Senang Wan Menua. So that's it, guys. See ya. And I forgot to tell you that it's sort of meaning like how do I say, like Graigu. I don't know. My brain is a little bit farting for tonight, so I don't want to mistranslate it. So that's it. Bye bye, guys. Take care. Signing out.